Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be introducing you to the JavaScript comparison operators. JavaScript comparison operators are used to compare values and will return a Boolean result. Boolean basically means true or false. So when you use JavaScript comparison operators, it will always return either a true value or a false value. So this is basic table illustrating some comparison operators. So I'll start from the top, which the first is known as the equal operator, and it's represented with the double equal symbol. So what that does, it checks if values are equal. Okay, so if you want to compare if two values are equal, you use the equal to operator. If you want to check if values are equal both in value and data type, you use the strictly equals to, which is represented with a triple equal sign. A single equal is used to assign a value. So we must be careful between the distinction between single equals or double. If you want to check if something is equal to something, you use a double equals. If you want to assign a value like you do in variables, you use just a single equal. If you want to compare that the values are strictly equal in both data type and value, you use the triple equal symbol. If you want to check if values are not equal, you use the exclamation mark and the equals to sign. That will check if the values are not equal. If you want to check if the values are strictly not equal in value and data type, you use the exclamation and double equal symbol. So if you want to check if a value is greater than another value, you use the greater than sign. For example, you want to check if 5 is greater than 2. If you want to check if a value is less, you use the less than symbol, which checks if a number is less than another number or value. You can also use the greater than or equal to, which is represented by the greater than sign and the equals to sign. What that does, it checks if the values is greater than or equal to. The less than or equal to is represented by the less than symbol and the equals to sign. This checks if the value is less than or equal to. So I'm going to jump into the console now and give you some basic examples of these comparison operators. So when you're using comparison operators, they will always return either a true or false result. Say for example, if I want to check if 4 is equals to 5, that will return false because 4 is not equals to 5. If I want to check if a value is strictly equals in type and also in value. So what I'll do first, I'll create a variable, call a variable called x. I'll give this a value of 7. I'll create a variable called y, and I'll give this a value of 7, but the 7 will be a string value. So which means the data type is different from variable x. So now I can do a comparison. I can say x is equals to y. This will return to true because both of them have a value of 7. Now if I use the triple equals to, it will return to false because the data type is different but the value is the same. So if I do x triple equals to y, that will give me a result of false because they are not equal in data type. The variable y has a data type of string. You can tell because of the quotes that is enclosed around the value, and variable x is numerical, which has a value of 7. So they are the same in value but not the same in data type. So if you want to check if two values are the same, for example, if I say 8 is not equals to 7, that will return true because 8 is bigger than 7, so it is not equal to 7. So if you want to check if a number is greater than another number, you want to check if 9 is greater than, say, 8, that will evaluate to be true because 9 is greater than 8. If we say 8, we call 8 is less than, say, 7, that again we evaluate to be true because 8 is greater than 7. So here I'm using the less than sign, comparing if 8 is less than 7. That has returned false because 8 is greater than 7. If I was to say 7 is less than 8, that will evaluate to be true because 7 is less than 8. So let me create a couple of variables. I'll create a variable a. I give it a value of 17 and I use the comparison. So if I say a is greater than or equals to 17, that will evaluate to be true because the variable a here is 17. So I'm saying a is greater than or equal to 17. So that evaluates to be true. If I create another variable, say I create a variable b and assign it a value of 10, and I want to check comparison. So if I say is variable b less than or equals to 9, that will evaluate to be false because b is 10. So these are basic examples of comparison operators. Once you understand the basic concepts, then it'll be easy for you to use the comparison operators. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be introducing you to the JavaScript logical operators. The JavaScript logical operators are used to determine the logic between variables or values. So this is a basic table that shows you two logical operators. The first is called the and is represented by the ampersand symbol. What that does, it checks if all the conditions are met and it will return a Boolean result, either true or false. If all the conditions are met, it will return true. If not, it returns false. The next is the OR operator, which is represented by the pipe symbol. It checks if any condition has been met and it will return a true Boolean result. So the key distinction between the and the OR is that when you're using the and to check conditions, all the conditions has to evaluate to true. If they are not met, then it will return a false Boolean result. Boolean result basically means true or false. In the OR operator, you only have to satisfy one condition. It will return a true result. So let me quickly illustrate how the logical operators are used in the console. So I'm going to start by creating a couple of variables. I'll create variable x. I'll give it a value of 7. I'll create another variable and I'm going to call this variable y and I'll give it a value of 6. Now I can use the logical operators to check the condition. So I can say x is less than 10. If x is less than 10, and y is greater than 6. This will evaluate to be false because the first condition is true, x is less than 10, but the second condition is false because y is not greater than 6, so it will evaluate to be false. So if I use the OR operator with the same condition, it will return true because one part of the condition is true, so it will return everything as true. For example, the same illustration, if I come here and say x is less than 10 or y is greater than 6, this will evaluate to be true because the first part of the condition is true, x is less than 10. So that's basically how you use a logical operator in a nutshell. Once you understand this basic use of it, then it will be able to it will make more sense when you start using it later. Thank you for watching, and bye for now. Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to introduce you to the Typeof operator in JavaScript. This operator is basically used to find the data type of a JavaScript variable. If you are not sure what type of data that a variable stores, or you want to find the value, you use the Typeof operator to return the type of data or variable. The best way to show you how this works is by actually illustrating this in the console. Say for example, I got a variable and I've got it set to say John, and I'm not sure what John is, if it's a string or a Boolean. So you can use the Typeof operator followed by the word John, and if you press enter, that would tell you what type of data it is. So it's telling you John is a string. So if I do Typeof followed by number, it will return number because it's a number data type. If I do Typeof space false, it will return Boolean because it's a Boolean value. If I do Typeof and I call this, say, my car, this is an object, so it will return undefined. It's returned undefined because it hasn't got a value. Once it has been assigned a value, then it will no longer have the undefined data type. If I do Typeof followed by null, this will return an object because null is an object data type. If I do Typeof and I do square brackets, remember anything with square brackets indicates an array. So this is an array here, and I've got 4 values in the array. This will return an object because an array is kind of a JavaScript object. Everything in JavaScript basically is an object. So that's basically how you use the JavaScript Typeof operator. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.